So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's wonderful to see you all and to be joined by people from all around the world. Today we're going to be talking about a pilot project that we've been working on together with several members from Family for Every Child. So we've got a packed agenda, but what we're hoping to cover in this session is to tell you a little bit about how this partnership came about between Family for Every Child and UCL, and then to talk a bit about the work that we've done together in Rwanda on the Uwihoreze project, and then to move into presentations from the different organisations who've been involved in this pilot project, who've taken the creative tools that you're going to hear about and adapted them to work with the communities, the families and the children in different countries. So I'm going to hand over to William now, who's going to say a few words about Family for Every Child and our partnership together. Thank you, William.
Hello, everyone. I'm William Gali, Senior Program Advisor, Mental Health Thematic Lead at Family for Every Child. I'm glad already now Professor Kirrily Pells introduced herself. This partnership with the Social Research Unit of the University College of London began last year. They were introduced to us, particularly Professor Kirrily Pells and her associate Kristýna Skriczka, by our member organization Uyisenga and Imanzi, who are in Rwanda. So they have implemented together a collaborative work in the context of managing intergenerational trauma through the Nkwihoreze project, which we'll hear more about it from Chaste and Prince. Family for Every Child is committed to collaborating with like-minded organizations to uphold children's rights and protection through evidence-based, locally grounded initiatives. And so this global partnership, local leadership, the project was more than a project actually, with the vision, the content, and the process close to the hearts of both the organizations. And through this committed collaboration of family and the UCL, the fruit of it is seen today. I just wanted to mention partnership actually has been guided by a memorandum of understanding built on shared intent and collaboration. It is anchored in the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child and other human rights. In particular, the guiding principles of this partnership have been to uphold child rights, non-discrimination, and participation while prioritizing mental health. It was also to create space for local civil society and lived experiences. That's why we have 4 members from the 4 different countries. And it was also to foster open, ethical, and dialogical collaboration and to commit to a shared learning and the safeguarding children and families. So the impact of the partnership, which we will see today through the presentation of our members, the key thing would be a combination of academic rigor with community-based practice, that is through the members of Family for Every Child. And I must say that it has been really a deep mutual learning, innovation, and substantial healing for children who participated in this. And so we look forward to listening to our 4 members, while I thank the UCL team from Family for Every Child, and welcome to all of you to this webinar.
Thank you very much, William. And now we're going to hand over to Chaste and Prince in Rwanda, who are going to talk about the Uwihoreze project, which was the inspiration then for this collaboration with the different member organizations. So Chaste and Prince.
Thank you, Kirrily, and thank you everybody for this space and this time where we can share the experience you have, let me say, experienced from this Uwihoreze project. And Uwihoreze in English mean let me care you and let me support you. So this is an initiative, I think, that started 2 years ago, from the, let me say, the background where we have done research on connective memories, and where the young children, young people themselves created some tools. And so from that background, we realized more researches, more practices are more focusing on trauma, on the transmission of trauma, and specifically using the Western tools, the Western theory, the Western, let me say, philosophy. And it's from that background where we said, let us create tools that should we use for children, that should we use for families, that should we use for couples, for of course, exploring the trauma and the transmission of trauma, but also explore the resilience and the transmission of resilience, as well as healing of trauma. So those, and then we have really created the arts-based that are really culturally appropriate, and those that have been created from the culture of Rwanda, to explore those three components. Probably Prince can add in terms of impact.
Thank you, Dr. Chaste. As Dr. Chaste said, this project Uwihoreze has allowed us, I would say for the first time, to contextualize the theories in mental health and to the Rwandan context, adapting it to the Rwandan context. And art is a great medium when it comes to resonating with cultures. And by art, it's not only through drawing, it's also through songs, through proverbs. And every culture has such creativity, and it resonates well with people's emotions and experiences. And I would say culture is the lens through which we see our mental health. So it became a learning experience, not only for the people who participated in the project as beneficiaries, but also even for professionals. It was a journey for all of us to learn and to heal together. And the approach used, as Dr. Chaste said, was co-production. Production of these tools was not done by professionals. It was through a collaborative effort with the children, with their families, and this is how we came to produce such amazing tools. It was through this process of co-production that allowed us to truly understand what resonates with the people. I think I will hand over back to Dr. Chaste to tell us more about these tools.
Thank you, Prince. Next, please. Of course, as Prince was saying, the development of those tools, it was a co-production. And we have been working with, of course, different local organizations, specifically IRG. That's an organization of Association of Children Survivors of Genocide. And we have been working with children from 6 to 12, that's the first group of children, and then 12 to 18. And as well as parents, both biological parents and even for single parents. And in total, we have been working with around 300 people in 4 districts of Rwanda. We have 30 districts of Rwanda, and we have been really developing those tools through workshop series of workshop co-production, and was at the same time production workshop and healing workshop. But what kind of tools we are talking about? The tools we are talking about, they are arts-based tools, but also at the same time metaphor tools. And those are arts, metaphor, that really are rooted from Rwandan culture. As my colleague was saying, they were linked to proverb, to song, and to different diversity of arts. They were tools produced specifically for children, like family tree. Family tree, that's one of the tools. The other tool is produced just for homes, for families, but at home, specifically family table tool. But also they were tools that should allow children and parents to interact, to share sensitive stories, either of parents sharing stories to their children, but also children sharing stories to their parents. And one of the tools we have been using, it was a story gifting tool that was linked to object illustration tool. Next, please. So those are the example of tool we have been using. I will just ask to vote which one, probably because here we have really developed multiple tools. We have developed many tools, but we selected like a family tree, family table, and object illustration that is linked to story gifting. Probably. Okay, thank you for voting. Family table is one of the tools that was co-created together with young people, children, and families. And it's a tool that that was developed based on the traditional activity called igitaramo cy'umuryango. That's like a family dialogue. It was a traditional family dialogue that was conducted in Rwanda. It was really a kind of dialogue around the fire at home, and children hearing their parents' stories, discussing, sharing proverb. That was really, and now this traditional activity is no longer there. And then now people meet at home around the table. And it's from that background they created the family table tool. And the family table tool, it was linked to other activities. The first activity was, let me say, a metaphor of food. When you are cooking food at home, there are different ingredients you put in that food. There are sometimes you put salt, you put, let me say, sweet thing that really make food really enjoyable. But also sometimes there are some bad thing that should go to that food. So it was around the table. So they try to, the activity is done at home while all family members are together around that table. And then, let me say, comparing all what is happening in the family, like that food that should have a good ingredient and bad ingredient, and everybody has the time to identify what good ingredient that should be the good values in the family, that should be the good behaviors, that should be everything good. They just put them, everybody put those good things, share to the table. But also, they have also to identify the bad thing that should be the bad behavior, the non-good values that are happening in the family, and all those they are selected, they are identified, and they are put in a rubbish around the table, in a rubbish collector around the table, and of course, as I was saying, this family table is linked also to maybe to another activity. Probably they can use the objective recitation, where every family member should really select those good values or bad thing by using an object, a specific object. If really they are not able to directly say the story or identify those things. So that's one activity. The second activity around the family table, there is empty chair. The empty chair that is really around the family table, where after sharing from all family members, sharing, identifying good things, they put on the table, identifying bad things, put in the rubbish. Then everybody will go and sit on the empty chair and has to respond the 4 questions. The first question, after hearing all family members, what the image did you see our family has? What is the image is our family? That's the first question. The second question, what the emotion you had, what feelings, what emotion you had when hearing everybody talking about values and bad behavior and good things and bad things in our family. So that what emotion had you? And then the third question, what kind of reason you got from the discussion? And then he has to end up with the question, what can we do to maintain our family as a good family? So that's how really the family table activities is being done in a cultural way, but also they can do other activities, sharing proverbs, sharing stories in the family, praying. That's the family table. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chaste, for just giving us a flavour of some of the tools, and you'll hear more about some of the other tools as we go through the presentations. So from the project in Rwanda, we wanted to share the experiences with other partners and for them to think about how the tools might work or need to be adapted for the different communities in which they're working. So we're going to move now to Kriti, who is going to introduce herself and the wonderful work that she's been doing with Voice of Children in Nepal. So thank you, Kriti.
Thank you, Kirrily. Thank you, everyone who have supported. We have really supported so much to take this project forward. So namaste, everyone. I am Kriti and I work for Voice of Children Nepal. It's a civil society organization based in Lalitpur, Nepal. Since 2000, we have been working to protect and promote the rights of children who are abused, exploited, neglected, or separated from their families. And our focus is on children, young people, women, and those families from the marginalized communities, especially street-connected boys, and who most of them are the survivors of sexual violence. So one of our biggest challenges is the lack of support networks and the deep social stigma surrounding the sexual abuse of boys, which often leaves them unseen and unheard. We joined this pilot because the idea of healing and building resilience through art deeply resonated with us. The children we support, they carry, the painful stories, and we saw this the art that this can be a powerful opportunity to better understand their experiences and offer tools that foster healing, expression, and at the same time it could generate some hopes to them. So that was our reason behind joining this project. So during our project, some of the issues that we identified were like reluctancy, the practice during our practice across all the tools. We practiced 5 tools, especially among the package: family tree, body mapping, well-being thermometer, object elicitation, and visual morale were the tools that we used with our participants. Initially, they were a bit hesitant, and they were not really able to, excel themselves in the creative expression, particularly when asked to reflect on emotions or family dynamics through drawing, storytelling, or symbolic memories. In the well-being thermometer session, many parents were unfamiliar with using pens and pencil because they were not, they had never gone to school, they had never held pen and pencil, so they were reluctant. They felt more comfortable speaking than writing or drawing because of that. And similarly, some children were hesitant to share openly because they feared like judgment or exclusion from family conversations. So in object elicitation, the emotional memories, they started surfacing slowly because that was our other exercises. Some exercises were already done before. The emotional memories that surface slowly with participants, they need some gentle prompts so that they can access and then and express their stories. But one core thing we noticed was that those hesitancy wasn't because due to lack of interest. Instead, it reflected deeper issues of trust, literacy barriers were there, and some emotional suppression as well. That was often shaped by the trauma and generational gaps. So we, as a facilitator, we responded with some adaptive, trauma-informed approaches. We tried to simplify the tools, offering some verbal alternatives, because since they were not able to hold the pens or they were like scared to, do through the arts and all. So we offered them some verbal alternatives and validating like every form of expression. Our thought was that. So whether through art, speech, or silence, we learned that flexibility is very important, and emotional safety are the essential things. When participants felt respected and supported, they gradually opened up, revealing profound insights and resilience. For future practices, we think it's important to offer multiple modes of engagement, including verbal, storytelling, group dialogue, and playful prompts. Building trust takes time, and as a facilitator, we must remain patient, responsive, and attuned to participants' comfort levels. Creating safe, inclusive spaces where every voice is honored can transform the hesitancy into healing. That's what we really learned from this project. Now, the next slide, please. So the key takeaway during our practice, I mean, through this pilot, that we have seen how tools like the well-being thermometer, body mapping, family tree, and visual morale, and other tools can unlock those deep emotional reflection and build trust between children and the caregivers. These approaches helped us create safe spaces for storytelling, healing, and resilience, especially for children affected by trauma and families navigating intergenerational changes. Moving forward, we intend to adopt these tools into our ongoing programs, including street outreach, family reintegration, and participatory workshops as well. We'll translate and contextualize them in Nepali and other local languages. So this can ensure accessibility and cultural relevance. Most importantly, we'll continue centering children's voices and emotional well-being in our research, advocacy, and support systems, because healing begins when stories are heard with dignity. That's what we believe. So thank you once again. Any questions are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kriti, for the wonderful presentation. We're going to go through all the presentations so that we have time to have a discussion at the end, but keep putting comments in the chat or questions in the chat as we go as well. So now I'm going to hand over to Stella, who is in Colombia, and she's going to be talking about the wonderful work that Tala de Vida has been doing as part of the project.
Thank you so much. My name is Stella Duque Cuesta. I'm part of a social organization, which is a psychosocial organization. We are members of Family for Every Child, and we are in different regions in Colombia. We managed to learn from the project, to learn from the different tools proposed by Rwanda, but also from our colleagues from Nepal, from the other countries, in order to progress. We were founded in 1994 by women who have suffered social and political violence in Colombia, and we have committed with different families, with children, and families in order to who were affected by armed conflict. So we have different methodologies based on a systematic approach, which are based on resilience and expressive arts, but we also create and develop psychosocial programs. So for us, it has been extremely important to be part of this project, to be able to learn and to be able to share our own tools. For us, what we did was to develop the project. It was to do it in the border with Venezuela, where we made migrating families who have been 2, 5, 4, 6 years, who have been in different communities. So we also share this with and work with indigenous communities. We focus mainly on 3 groups: families who have been migrating, families who have been displaced, but also families who have suffered social and political violence. It means they have lost families, because in a way this is similar to Rwanda, but it's different because in Colombia, armed conflicts have lasted for so many years, and we are still there. So in family, we're really concentrated or focused on working. We have learned different tools, but the basic work is based on resilience, how to promote resilience, how to start talking about this, because so many of the families have never spoken between generations, let's say from grannies to moms and children. They haven't spoken about what they had suffered in terms of migration and displacement as well. And they hadn't even had the opportunity to talk about family feelings. And so we managed to talk about resilience, to share stories on the table, different important elements that for us were dialogue about resilience using the tree metaphor, the family tree, but also how granny's generations managed to just face all this based on resilience, and also the family table, and also the map, just to promote this confidence link in the family. So these were different tools that were proposed by Randall, but we used these and just passed them to our members in order to be able to talk, especially to those saying that new generations try to leave the communities, try to leave the places. So we are really worried about this. So these tools let us open up and talk about this, and just to start promoting a different relationship based on confidence, and also to be able to assume, to face the trauma. We have different images here. We have a meeting with families in La Guajira, which is an indigenous community, but it's also a migrant community who had to survive, who had to resist xenophobia, exclusion, because they were not originally from Colombia, but they keep on working and making progress in looking after their family. So these tools have not only allowed us to talk about resilience, but also to talk about family. So we talk about letters. We were talking about how letters would be sending, grannies would be sending letters to mothers and mothers to them. So we talk about that, and it's something so lovely in Colombia. So we started talking about all these years covered with violence, difficulties, and we will keep on working with this methodology, and they will be applied in our project. So thank you so much for giving me the time to talk about this. Thank you so much for sharing all the tools. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stella, for the wonderful presentation and for all your contributions to the project. We'll now move to Anara in Kyrgyzstan to talk about the work that Semya has been doing there. And as I said before, we'll then come back and open up for questions with all of the panelists at the end. So Anara.
Sorry, I would like to add something. We work on about storytelling with children. Sorry.
Okay, 1 minute then. Yeah.
Un minuto, gracias.
Sorry, did Stella just want something else to add? Yeah, okay.
That was it. We wanted to add that we created narrative and stories with children, so based on storytelling and based again on resilience. Thank you so much.
Amazing, thank you.
Thank you,
Kristýna.
Stella. Thank you, Stella. Thank you. And if I may also reveal, and we don't have that available today, but Stella's team created just the most gorgeous song during the process of the project, and they shared it with us during one of our webinars. Yeah, and it got us all tearful and like really, really moved. So it's just the power of art and power of engaging on a really deep and meaningful level that makes a huge difference. Now, the next presenter is Anara, but unfortunately she's been feeling a little bit poorly. I'm not sure she was able to join. I have her slides and I've been asked to present. So I'm just going to have last check in case any of Anara's colleagues were able to join. No. Okay, so I will introduce Anara, the director of the Semya Kazhdomu Rebenku Public Foundation in Kyrgyzstan. They've been part of the project as well. And the message I have from them is they joined the project because it resonated with their values for care, support, and believing that every child deserves a safe space where they're seen, heard, and accepted. Semya's got a very long history of of work, but the most current focus is on working with foster families, which were also part of this pilot. So here are Anara's slides. During the workshop for the foster parents and children, they try to create an atmosphere of warmth and trust. And we'll be talking a little bit later about some of the trust building exercises. And they chose deliberately not to focus on biological parents, as not to cause the children any kind of painful feelings. And instead, they talked about those people who are close to them. So the foster parents, mentors, teachers, friends, and people who invest love and attention for these children every day. So they've proposed some really insightful adaptations for working with this group. So our tool in the Uwihoreze toolkit is called Family Tree, which of course for foster children maybe means it needed rethinking. So the names suggested, you can see them on the slide. So it was my support tree, perhaps, instead of a family tree, where the roots are important people from the present. So that was one of the suggestions. Or people who make my life better, a story that inspires me, or my future family tree, and focusing about dreams and the future that the child wants to build, rather than looking at the past. They also believe that it's important to tell the children stories of strength and overcoming adversity, where the heroes are not only parents, but also teachers, coaches, neighbors, volunteers, anyone who has been a source of kindness and support for that child. Such activities, especially in the presence of a psychologist or social worker, so I guess drawing on the support and the safe creation of safe spaces, help children with traumatic experiences to gradually rethink the concept of family. So not thinking of a family as a traditional format, but looking at the wider connections to community and see the care that they have around them, and form a healthy identity and build resilience. Next slide, please. Thank you. So to close, the key takeaways. Anara said they see a great potential for developing this practice, and these tools could be used to train social workers and volunteers from the rural health communities, perhaps in the work of teachers and foster parents, or in mothers. They have these polyclinics in Kyrgyzstan that Anara was talking about. They are also keen to work on creating some visual materials like posters and leaflets, where they could spread the word and just get the knowledge out there, or make people think, I suppose. They're also trying to look into developing a small handbook, which would be for specialists, but also a friendly books for parents and children of different nationalities, which would use a simple language to talk about human values, intergenerational support, and how a family can be rebuilt with warmth, trust, and hope. So I hope I did it justice. I know that Anara would have delivered a very much richer presentation, but thank you very much. And thank you to Anara and her team as well, because they did a wonderful, wonderful project, and we're all learning so much from each other. And I will pass on to Ita, if we still have her. She was also concerned about some connection issues.
I think I used to sign in with two two instrument. Okay, good day everyone. My name is Ita Rahma, and I'm the Vice Secretary of Social Welfare Council of the Central Board of Muhammadiyah. Muhammadiyah is quite old organization. We are founded in 1912. So this month is our anniversary for our organization for 113. We are in Indonesia, and we are one of the largest modern Islamic organization, and we integrating faith with social services, education, healthcare, and economic empowerment. A little bit sharing with you what Muhammadiyah, we have continues growing our institution. Now we have around 23,000 early childhood education centers. We also have 5,300 schools and 615 social welfare institutions and 444 boarding schools. We have 457 hospitals and 162 university and higher education institutions across Indonesia. So it's quite big, and then it's quite challenge for ourselves for children welfare. And Muhammadiyah commits to the welfare and children, and as part of our mission, we are very happy as part of family for every child member. And when we were piloting this, I'm sorry, just hard for me to say this tool, Nkwihoreze pilot project. We have to really selecting which from our Muhammadiyah Children Centers that actually fit for these tools. Before the main workshop, we tested the tools with facilitators, with 1 and 2 family. This is a very important stage because we want to adapt the tools with our local context, and we want to see what is our targeted group that we're going to have 1-day workshop. 1-day workshop itself, it's very tight. And honestly, for me, I have been quite long in facilitating a workshop, but it's very quite heavy in terms of emotional and how we can building trust with the participant. In the beginning, it's very important. We practice several tools. We have word showers, and also well-being thermometer, body mapping, object elicitation, story gifting, and family tree, of course. At the very beginning, when we build trust among the participant, and we try to create a safe and welcoming space, and then where everyone feel comfortable to share and engage. It's take quite some time in the beginning, how we eye-to-eye connected and engaging with the families and the children, because even though they are part of Muhammadiyah Children Centers, but some of facilitator are not stay as a social worker or caretaker within the center. So this is so important in the beginning, why building trust from our facilitator and participant is very important. And I just see from the chat how we make sure the level of from the participant, they agree to be part of this workshop. We luckily guided by USL team with Kriti, Kirrily, and also Kristýna. We read actually all the terms reference with the participant, whether if they are not comfortable to share, it is they can say objection or they don't want to participate. So participation was voluntarily in every process when we using the tools. So if anyone did not feel ready to share their thought, it was perfectly fine, and we can just step back, and then we adjust it. Even during the workshop itself, when we want to share like a story gifting from parents to children, we want to do together. They don't want they're not feeling okay to doing that in front of the the facilitator. So on that day, we have to adjust. We giving them a section for like 1 hour for them to share without us. What we want is building the communication, because from majority of our participants, because the mothers so busy working, because they are most of them are a sole like a family for part of who get a family income, they don't have much time to build communication with their children. So this is very quite good when we have one section how to they can push them to not push them but giving them time to share about what the story they have, and they don't have to tell us what the story that they share. Just keep on them, but we can see some of them during the section laughing, and then even awkwardness also happen there. And then for some children, they also saw different level of comfort. There's one child prefer to whisper their feeling privately to us, the facilitator, when we draw body mapping. And then we ask if they want to share openly. If they don't want to share, then it's perfectly fine. So we just keep with that. Another participant also choose to write instead of drawing, because not all people comfortable by doing drawing, but it's so luckily even the beginning she write about what her feeling for the well-being thermometer, but at the end she able to write a drawing about when she giving a story gifting. So it's also very moving for us, like during a whole day exchange. I want to share there is when we sharing about asking them the meaning of the word safe for them. For example, one mother said that 100,000 rupiah, or it's around like $8. If they have $8 a day, it's a interpretation for them to feel safe. So if you can see the level, each one have a difference. And there's also one child said, safe is when I've eaten, because if not, I get angry easily. And another child say, safe is being at home without being scolded by mom. Even the mother hearing this definition of safe, so like, I'm not like scolded you or angry with you. So they're giving like this kind of reaction straight away. But as the facilitator, we try to keep managing that. And then the child's mothers during the process, as you can see, trauma is not always caused by war, natural disaster. And in this case, poverty itself can be very source of traumatic for the mothers that they can pass to their children. And these mothers are very strong women because they have to fight for their children. They have to sacrifice everything to make sure the well-being of their children. However, sometimes for the children, someone who saw that strength can feel more restrictions and constant scolding. So during this process, this is one thing that we try to able to bridging that communication. The children can understand through the story, gifting, and also from the object solicitation what happened with their parents and how their parents push them like that because they want to be more succeed rather than the parent itself. And there is one touchy moment.
Sorry,
when
can I just ask you to take one more minute, and then we'll make sure that we have time for everyone to ask questions, if that's okay. Thank you so much. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you, Kirrily. I just want to share about a very emotional moment when there's mothers and daughter. They're not difficult to show their affection. Even the daughter able to say, "I want my moms to hug me," and in that moment, somehow, why don't you give her a hug? It is not easy for us, of course. So maybe next slide. This is the last slide. So as you can see in this slide, there is like a guitar that been drawn by the mother. This is very strong. When we practice object solicitation, why the mother doesn't want the kids to play guitar, because when she was as a street musician, she have this guitar to make money. So she doesn't want her children to play much music because she afraid they're going to be trapped to become like a street musician instead of study. That's one thing that the children understand. It's not just not to play music, but there is something behind that. So building trust and engagement should be start from the beginning. That's one thing that we have to make sure everyone comfortable, creating shared space for reflection, story, and emotional connection, and also address parental dominance, because when we put family and children, parents, or someone tends to like a more adult, they tends to dominance, and this is something that we have to address as well, to make sure balancing the voice and fostering a safe, respectful environment for sharing. And because we have quite a lot of children centers, this is also one challenges for us. We would like to share these tools. We already adapted and we built a guideline based on these tools. We're going to share with our social worker and also a caretaker, not only for bridging parents and children, but also intergeneration, especially with elder people, because sometimes with our elder, we also have a miscommunication, and we think like this tool is very good into bridging not only parents and children, but also into an elder as well. I think that's all the thing that I can share. Happy if there's a question and answer. Thank you, Kirrily.
Thank you so much, Ita, and thank you for sharing those human stories as well. That was really wonderful. I'm going to suggest now, Dee, could we take the slides down? Because I think I want to make sure that we have lots of time for questions and discussion.
Dance was really one of the beautiful tools that was associated to all those arts-based and metaphor tools. And I would say that every workshop was introduced by dance energizer, specifically traditional and modern. And it was really amazing to see parents dancing together with children, even if, with the let me say children's songs and the dance, but also at the same time, the participants created so many songs that was also associated to songs and to dances, and I will say that even some have been really he went to studio and they have been produced. They produced the CDs and whatever. And I remember one song created by a 10-year-old that was presented during international resilience conference here in Kigali. So it was really, dance was a beautiful tool that was associated to all those tools.
To. So Rashi asked, were there any socio-cultural barriers that were observed across countries that led to adapting the research design? So has anybody got a particular adaptation that you made in relation to one of the tools, or maybe some cultural aspects that you brought into the process to make it fit better with the context that you're working in?
Yes, I would like to share that we have a story of the girls, which is in Washu, which is her native tongue. So what we did was to talk between different experts and linguists in order to adapt this. But to be honest, I think that it's so well designed that we manage just to avoid that. Yeah, we can't hear properly, so there's a problem with connection. So throughout the communities, we have different people who speak both languages, bilingual people. So we created a group of people who know this. We call them sabedores because they speak Spanish, their own language. They have their own culture, but they went to university to study about the other world, I would say. So they help us because it's not easy to talk, for example, with grannies because they don't speak that Spanish, let's say. So they help us talk to them and manage to communicate with them. So the project, the tools are so easily flexible, I would say, because these tools allows us to go to, or to interact with different cultures, with different languages, different ways of understanding the world. So thank you so much for sharing them with us.
Yes, and I would also like to just add into that, like, when we were talking about resilience and how they take the resilience, actually the children, one of the children participants, they started, they used the Nepali proverb, which goes like this, like "Ago tapnu mudako, kura sunu budako." That means take warmth from the fire or log and wisdom from the elders. This proverb means, in essence, like, just as one seeks that physical warmth from the fire, one should seek knowledge, guidance, and wisdom from the experienced elders. So that was the start of the conversation that day, coming up from the children, and that supported their parents to correlate the cultural aspect, like how they respect their elders, what they see on them, because we were also kind of susceptible at initially, thinking that maybe both are together if they could open up well in front of parents, sharing their inner feelings of the children, or even parents speaking about their fear, their resilience. Will it be easier, that easy? But when children started with this proverb, it gave a feeling of like, okay, this is a space where we can, like, both of us come together and share our feelings. So that, I think, was the start was something supported our pilot that day. Thank you.
Maybe I'd like to add a little bit. The good thing about this tool is the story itself. There is a moment when they can share their story, their experience in their life, not just to their children as a participant, but to everyone. So in one way, these tools can become a healing emotional for them because they can share what is a burden. So for example, one mother's, she feels being trapped in the family where it's not just she have to responsible for her kids, but she also have to responsible for her brother's children that she has to take care. And one good thing when we using what shower, what is your motivation when this kind of communication happen with her child, and the mother, and the child say, I never feel the same when I have to help my mother to sell cookies at school, because everyone have different luck. So I don't mind with that. And seeing like the mother's expression, like being helped by her kids, it's not about the money that they get, but the same sharing responsible. This is one thing that the tools, it's actually not just, like I said before, normal facilitation, but this is about how you can healing process even during the workshop when you share your story. So it can be used in any situations, even in different participants. But one thing, adapting and understanding the participant before you start using the tools, have a deep conversation with the caretaker or social worker that working with them most of the time. It's very important. So you can very more focus. In the beginning, we are not going to solve anything in here. One day workshop, it's not enough for resolution, but the process itself, it's for me, it's quite beauty process during the whole day from 8 in the morning until 6 in the afternoon. It was like fantastic. Yeah. I'm happy to be part of this workshop. Thank you for team to share this.
Kirrily, there was
Yes,
one
please.
right at the beginning.
Yes, please share.
Someone said, how did you come about bringing trust to the groups that were invited into the Nkwihoreze? Because the issues of pain and trauma are difficult to address and the vulnerability. I don't know if you or Chaste.
Chaste, do you want to talk a little bit about the trust building and the kind of the relationship building with the children and families at the start of the workshops?
Thank you, Kirrily, and thank you, William. The trust building was created through the creation of connectivities between parents, children, parents together, children together, but also through, let me say, the activity that we always like call energizers. We energizers. People, let me say, singing together, participants sitting down together, let me say, participants sleeping on the floor together, and really it creates, first of all, that connectivity. That's really a powerful introduction. The setup and the start was like that. It was not really a theoretical discussion. We used it to use we create trust. There is a trust. No, it was through activities, through energization, through when you go, I don't know, but I think on our website there are some activities. Parents singing together, hugging it together. So, and then through those really creation of familiarities together, they feel like, let me say, like brothers and sisters at the beginning. So that's one of the activities, and even also allowing participants to choose what kind of art they are going to use for any tool. Let me say you are going to write a letter. There was one of the tool called the family letter. You can write a letter by drawing. So you can write a letter through a poem. And you can write a letter by a song, and really the participants through in this activity, they are giving the opportunity sometimes to share their stories in the anonymous, in the arts ways, not directly. So that's really the beauty of those tools. And of course, with all those activities that created the familiarities, the connectivities, they are able now to share what they have already did in the arts forms or in the metaphor forms, even through performing. It was not only just storytelling as we do, but also you could even perform your arts work. So that's one. And secondly, because it was in a series of workshops, the workshop of children together, the workshop of couples, mothers and fathers together, the workshop of all family members together. So let me say something that the parents can be shared between the parents themselves, that cannot be shared to children. They could get a space, a specific space. So I can really say same that, but really emphasizing on creating connectiveness and familiarity between the participants.
Thank you, Chaste. One of the points that was raised in a couple of the presentations, and it speaks to one of the questions as well, about barriers to the project. So for some people, expressing themselves creatively is a challenge. If you asked me to start singing now, I certainly would close up and wouldn't be able to do that. So that's one of the things that we've been thinking about coming out of this project. And Kristýna, I wondered if you might like to explain a bit about the project and the work that you're doing to try and develop the project going forward.
Thank you, Kirrily. Yes, so one thing we have observed, as Kirrily just mentioned, was that not always are people feeling free to engage with artistic practices, whether it's singing or drawing. And it actually was during one of those webinars that we had with our family partners when Stella's team came up with the song and just started singing in the middle of the webinar with no warning. And, you know, I'm based in London, so that was very unusual, but so moving. And it made me think about what is it in our cultural backgrounds, in our upbringing, in our environments that makes it difficult for us to be free to express ourselves. And also drawing on the success of these tools in the different settings. So we've decided to bring those two things together in a small pilot project that will be starting soon, called Art Ease. And we are going to be looking at both seeing the interest of anyone who's based in London here. This is specifically funding for London-based projects. So if there are any practitioners today, please get in touch. I have put my email in there if you're interested in learning more about those tools, but also interested in exploring how we can unleash our inner creative selves. So we will be co-creating a tool to do that, and we will share that widely on our website as well when that's done. Thank you, Kirrily.
Coming towards the end of our time together today, are there any remaining questions before we close today? Anything else you wanted to ask, or connections you've seen with your own practices, the work that you're all doing?
Hi, I just wanted to jump in and say it sounds great that there's loads of ideas coming out about how different organisations could work together. I think most of you will have signed up to this session via our Changemakers site. Most people will be on there, so that's a great way to start those conversations and make those connections. So I'd encourage everyone to take part on there, and we'll post some links to your website, Kirrily, and we'll also post a link to some work we did around documenting this project as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dee. And thank you again, everybody, for joining us today. It's been really wonderful to spend the time together. Thank you for all of your ideas and suggestions. We really want to keep this conversation going. So please do get in touch with us, or post ideas, comments on the Changemakers platform as well. We'd love to continue to grow the work and draw on all of the wonderful insights and work that you're all doing. So thank you very much. Before we close, Dee or William, is there anything else to add?
I just really want to thank you all. And if technically possible, is that we can hear that song from, I don't know, from Tala de Vida? Or you want to sing the tune or something, Stella?
No puedo en este momento, pero la voy a compartir.
I can't right now. But, it's raining now heavily, so you won't be able to hear me, but I can share it.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. That's all,
Mi
Kirrily. Thank you
abuela
so much.
cocina hierbas cuando mi cuerpo se enferma. Mi abuela cocina hierbas, unas ramitas de albahaca y también de hierbabuena, unas ramitas de albahaca y también de hierbabuena. Yo soy luna y yo soy sol. Con mi ombligo sembrado en la tierra, yo soy luna y yo soy sol. Con mi ombligo sembrado en la tierra. Un poquito.
Just a little bit.
Thank you so much, Stella. Thank you. Put you on the spot there, but that was really wonderful and a lovely way to close. So thank you so much, everybody, and look forward to being in touch.
Thank you. Thank you all. What a great way to finish. Thank you.
Take
Thank
care,
you,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.